Hey guys, Moose here. Welcome back to another episode of Life is Feudal Forest Village. Feeling a little bit better today. Had some fair bit of throat pain in the morning, but kind of went down as the day went on. I tried not to talk too much at work. Still got a lot done. Actually, work is going really well. There's a lot of major projects that are progressing quite nicely. I'm fairly proud of my input into those. Things are going okay. It's always nice when you're helping out, you're doing good work, it feels good. Alright, I screwed up here a little bit. How about the other one? Is the other one full? The other one's alright. The other two are alright, it's just this one that's filling up. And then these two, probably I should try to get stuff out of as well. Get them moving. We do want stuff to be there because it'll, we want stuff to be accessible for these houses, but that's not a major issue yet, anyway. Not just yet. Alright, pavement's getting made. We should kind of try to see... We're real close, like one or two more. Just one more I think would do it. One more row after this one, so that shouldn't take too long, I hope. Maxed out on donkeys there, good. Glad to see that. Clothing is starting to get up there, which is really good. We want to start using that kind of, I was going to say dupe bug, but it's not really a dupe bug, it's just the exchange rate is odd. That's really all it is. It's hilarious that these are all full with hay, basically. We got a lot of stone and ore too, so to be fair, it's not just hay. Things are going pretty well. That's not good. These should have begun harvesting quite a while ago. Interesting. So that's really weird. It doesn't grow as fast as the potatoes. I wonder why that is. They're both normal growing, so what's the issue? It requires more humidity, but that doesn't really make too much sense. That shouldn't be a factor, to be honest. Weird. We're gonna get burned here. We should have harvested earlier. Whatever, we're fine on food, but I hope it bumps up a little bit here, because we're definitely harvesting slower than I would like. We're not going to get really much of any grain. It sucks. Whatever. Life goes on. We're fine. There they go. We'll get it next year. We're literally not using grain right now, so it really doesn't matter in the short term. It just sucks, kind of generally. I feel like this is somewhat unnecessary at this point, but we're going to do it anyway. Much more important is probably going to be cutting down trees. Ooh, that lagged. Get as many of these cut down as possible. Hopefully they can kind of chew through it successfully over the course of winter. We don't have to miss out on this in the summer, Hauling's not going as quickly as I would have expected. Oh, whatever. They'll figure it out. People dying of old age and accidents, that's not ideal. Let's queue up some more pavement, since this should be the last one we build. On this end, anyway. Gives us the opportunity to get the bakeries up and running, but... do I care? I guess I kind of care. I don't really care that much. Let them finish these ones first before we continue on. Even though it really kind of doesn't matter. Do it that way anyway. For reasons. Yeah, wow, they emptied those real quick. This one, I guess they're starting to get in. They made a dent. It's far from being done. Ooh, they did a really good job of clearing the forest. That's good to see. Always need more wood. No question there. Should probably put stairs like right around this area, I would imagine would be the right place to put it. It's probably kind of unnecessary, unless you're one of the haulers. Like, if you're a hauler, I definitely see it being important, but they're not going over this. I mean, they're really only coming over this way for this one. Everything else is sort of still relatively direct. Clay digger died in an accident. That's surprising. You'd think digging clay would be a little bit safer. It doesn't strike me as the kind of thing that you have to go, like, digging a cave for, basically. Like, it's not a mine shaft kind of thing. Maybe it is, maybe I don't know. I just assume that would be more like a quarry. Quarries are more... Well, I guess it doesn't really make sense to have a stone mine either. Ore mine makes sense, but like a quarry you would just, you know... Typically open air, it's basically just like a massive pit in the ground, which is pretty cool, I think. I wonder, like... Do you think they ever I mean, I'm sure it's happened before, but like what... I want to see if there's like some repurposed quarries in the world where it's like a massive quarry and they like kept digging but not for resources, just more in like a structuring the hole kind of way, and then built some massive house or building in it or something, because you have a ton of real estate. Like, you're creating space by going underground effectively. But typically it's not just like a hole in the ground, it's like, hey, this is a mountain, because I think, putting my geology hat on a little bit, I did work on a major in environmental science, so I know a little bit. I think they probably would be most likely to put a quarry in a region that has a fault line, because that would be in a particular type of fault line, where one of the tectonic plates is kind of going up on top of the other, because it creates, and that's where mountain ranges are, which is my point, but it creates easier access to lower strata of the tectonic plate, basically, like, because part of it's getting pushed up, so like one side of the mountain is sort of like, you can think of it as like the under, if it's literally like a plate like that you would eat food off of, one of them you have easier access to kind of like the bottom lip of the plate, basically, which is where you'd get stone that would typically exist deeper in the earth, which might be what they're going for. I don't know what, like, if marble is like deeper, I don't know. I'm sure there's something appealing about the deeper stone. So I think, but don't know, but I think that most quarries would typically be made in that kind of a region, which would be more mountainous, rather than like a flat area where you just have like a massive hole in the ground. So you wouldn't generally just have like, oh, that's a Midwest, there's a quarry here. It'd be like California, San Andreas fault line. I know there's some, yeah, there's at least one quarry near here because we had a seismograph in our physics class in high school, and there was like a weekly detonation that they did at the quarry, and we could record that on the seismograph, which is kind of cool. I had several cool physics teachers, actually. Oh wait, no, that wasn't a physics teacher, that was the environmental science teacher. We had an environmental science course in high school, which, you know, yeah, okay, California, if you want to call us hippies, fine, whatever, I don't care. Environmental science is interesting. Soil science, like, you don't really think about water that much, but it's, like, actually critically important to every living thing, pretty much. And it's really interesting how water flows through the earth, kind of, because it's, I don't know, it's complicated and very difficult to measure, and I find that interesting. The fact that you can, like, you can't just put, like, a water meter in the dirt, right? Because it's flowing everywhere. And there's actually underground rivers and stuff. There's all kinds of crazy shit going on that you never even think about or notice. It's just really cool to learn about that stuff and see it, maybe. Like, one of my, hey, this is like more of like a minor fantasy that I just hope happens, but I don't expect it to happen. Or it's not, I don't expect it to happen, and also it's not a big deal. I want, like, I want drones that have wireless drones that penetrate surface, like, their signal can go through, like, a lot of rock and stone, or a lot of water. Either one. Because I either want, like, it'd be really cool to do it as a hobby as well, where you basically, I'd want a boat, like just a really pretty basic boat, nothing special. And then I want to get like a drone submersible, and then I want to pilot it. What the hell what, I don't have people anymore? Oh, too many builders, okay. And I want to take that drone and I want to like go, because there's some lakes that are really surprisingly deep, more deep than you would expect, like, and parts of the ocean that are less deep than you'd expect. And both of those are things where I want to just like kind of go out on the boat and like have a setup where I'm in like the cabin or something and the boat's just going on and I can sit there and pilot this remote sub and like explore. Like, go down and see what's at the floor. Like, see, it's like, oh, hey, there's a fish. There's this, you know, and just kind of go around. Like a little robot fish thing. I think that'd be really fun and interesting, and it'd be like a really fucking cool science project and experiment. Or not experiment, but like, imagine like, oh, I'm gonna get a kid and I'm gonna teach them, when I have a kid, I'm gonna teach them how to make one. I'll have them order all the parts and I'll have them assemble it. And I'll show them how. And teach them how, and then we'll go record footage in like a local lake and like check out, hey, there's this kind of fish here, and then basically say like, okay, well, we ran into this fish and based on these defining characteristics we identified it as this species, and like just go, like, just do weird shit. Like, to me that's much more interesting than going fishing. Like, it's the same sort of thing, because if you're a kid, like, taking your kid fishing is like, it's not really about getting food, right? It's like a relaxing experience where you're kind of like in an environment that you typically don't spend time in. That's the point. Not so much that you're getting food or anything. And I find it really, I guess, cool to be able to do that a little bit more directly and like see stuff instead of just, you know, hey, I'm gonna like fish, and if a fish bites, cool, I get to see it, but otherwise, whatever. No, I actually want to see stuff. So, I don't know, I think it's a really interesting thing to do. The only issue is underwater you have to deal with visibility, but I'd love to do that with like an aerial drone. I would love to do that with like a cave diving drone. That's where, that one is the hard one, because you have to like, getting a signal to penetrate rock is not a simple thing. And especially, like, enough rock that you'd get super deep in a cave. Because I really like caves, but I really don't like the idea of dying in a cave. So, I want to have, like, a drone that I can send in and get all the fun of, like, hey, I'm in a cave, and I'm, like, checking out all this crazy shit that maybe humans have never seen before, because this is a really dangerous thing to do, and people typically wouldn't do this. I want to do that, but I don't want to risk my life. So, I don't know why I'm building two. For fun, let's say. But yeah, I want to do that, I just don't want to risk my life. Because it's not worth it, and I'm not athletic enough to do that kind of a thing. But like, imagine you could just be like, oh hey, we're in this cave, it's unmapped, we don't know what the hell's going on, but... And there's a river, and I could go into it and dive and try to find the next part, but there's no guarantee that, one, there's going to be oxygen on the other side, or two, that there's even an exit close enough that I would be able to survive getting to it. And it'd be really cool to basically play like real-life Minecraft with a drone, basically, without destroying anything, ideally. It'd be super, super fun, I think. And I'd settle for aerial, which is what I'll wind up doing eventually, and get like So I talked in the last Planet Base episode about how writing really runs in my family on my dad's side, and the interesting thing is it runs in my family less than the writing does, but photography kind of runs in my family a bit on my mom's side. My grandfather was a World War II photographer, and he kept kind of doing photography stuff later in life, so I've done a little bit, and I've kind of had a knack for getting a good picture for whatever reason. And it'd be fun to like do that with like be a kind of, not like a full-time nature photographer, but a little bit with a drone, and just be like these incredibly beautiful shots. Like, you don't necessarily think about the scale of these areas. I'm in Silicon Valley. I've got Adobe. I know where the Adobe headquarters is. There's parts of this area I can drive around for 20 minutes and not go a single block without seeing a Google building. There's an area in this area where Google is literally buying like some of the most expensive land in the country and taking all of it. And it's like an industrial park that they're just completely taking over. It's insane. The amount of money involved must be ridiculous. You've got, is Sun Microsystems even around anymore? I remember they had a building off of one of the freeways. I saw that all the time. You got plenty of hospitals and stuff. What other major companies are around here? Pretty much all of them. There used to be a Toyota plant nearby. I think they reopened it. Tesla is, of course, nearby. Apple's UFO. How could I not mention the Apple campus that's nearby, Cupertino? I could walk there. There's all kinds of shit around here, but you don't think about it like it's a valley, Silicon Valley. What that implies is there's mountains on either side, and those mountains are not developed. So you can go and see nature like around the corner. I can go to Lake Tahoe and go skiing, or have like a crazy summer lake house. Like, there's nature around here, very, very close to where we are. So you could go out to these places and have beautiful shots of like, look, if you look in this direction, you can see all of Silicon Valley. It's the technological heart of humanity in many ways. And then turn around and be like, hey, this is a beautiful mountain forest with a reservoir, a couple rivers, and a bunch of trails, and all kinds of stuff going on. So being able, like, I would love to get like a really nice quality drone, and I'm not as interested in video. I know the drone videos are like super common and people love doing that. I'm more interested in like very high resolution pictures, I guess. And beautiful to just look out. I would love to look out over the valley, the South Valley, which is like Santa Clara, San Jose, that area. Just get up on like a hill or mountain somewhere and take like a beautiful high resolution photo, looking out to the east over as much of the valley as you can see, both during the day and at night. Both of those would be incredible views. Alright, well, I know what I want to spend money on now. I don't know how I can make money out. Everything, like, I have these hobbies and things that I want to do. Like, I really love to write. I don't really know how to, well, I know how to monetize it. I just don't have any hope of monetizing it. I want to take photographs like that, whether they're with drone or otherwise, is unrelated. I'd be totally happy to do it without a drone. But monetizing that's not exactly a simple thing. Plus, I'd have to, like, to really do that kind of a thing, you'd have to travel. I think you have to go different places. And nature photography is not exactly incredibly profitable, I think. You'd probably, if you're talking about making money as a photographer, probably your best bet is to be a wedding photographer. That's about it. If I had to guess. Maybe doing portraits, but a lot of that stuff I kind of get the impression it's not really done professionally as much as it is just like, hey, look, there's a store, and you come in, some intern, 20-year-old who can't find a job elsewhere will take your picture with this pre-done setup that will just kind of work, because there's only so many ways you can take a profile picture of someone. And maybe I'm totally being unfair about that, but that's kind of the impression I get. No offense if that's your job, but it strikes me as the kind of thing that doesn't require that much knowledge about, like, the artistic aspects of photography, I guess is the way I'd put it. No, I want food. Show me the bakeries. I'm just gonna plan this out real quick. Getting a GoPro and going hiking has also crossed my mind, but oh, of course it's the last one. But that's a little bit less... Well, let me put it this way. That would require physical exertion, so maybe no. Like, as lazy as that is. Can I even put it? No, I can't put it there. Okay, so I can't do it that way. What if I do it side by side? Or, oops, that's not what I want. What if I do it the other way? I think there's squares. I think there's kind of nothing I can do. Because it's always gonna... It'll fit, but it's like off slightly. Is that as far? No, I can go one further. No, I can't go one further. Okay, so it has to be there. Weird, why does it like deform? Oh, because it's like when you put it one further, it's like trying to place it below. Not actually on the pavement. That's really weird, I don't know what's doing that. Okay, so we can do it. It's gonna be a little awkward. That's honestly not the worst thing. They're squares, I think, so we can line them up however we want, but for now I'm gonna end it there. We got plenty done with the 2 new windmills. Kind of nice, overlooking the town. Nice scenic look. This is the kind of thing where I'd want like a real city drone photography like this. Even better if you went somewhere like England and, you know, you have an actual old town with beautiful old buildings and these scenic roads where you kind of like it's going back in time almost to a degree. Like that kind of a thing would be stunning, potentially, if done properly. Anyway, that is going to do it for today's episode, so thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Hope you'll join us for the next one as well. If you did enjoy it, you can feel free to come by twitch.tv/electronicmoose Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, 6 to 8 p.m. PST, 9 to 11 p.m. EST, as I stumble over my words. Sorry about that. But if you'd prefer just to watch here, I appreciate that all the same, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.